Hello everyone, here is Roberta di Pietrantonio from the Rolling Phones, and today we will talk about pollution. So, as we know, everyone likes to dress stylish. We all aim to buy the latest collection of a brand, but after wearing it a couple of times, what happens to these clothes? Have you ever wondered? Or how that outfit that you are wearing right now is produced? Our favorite t-shirt, the jeans that no longer fit, and those shoes that we rarely use, if made or dyed with polluting materials, can contribute to damage and consume vital resources. Just think that even just by washing our clothes at home, we release 500,000 of tons of microfibers into the ocean every year, the equivalent of 50 billion plastic bottles. The dyeing of fabrics, and on the other hand, is even in second place among the major causes of water pollution on the planet. Just think that to make a pair of jeans, you need thousands of liters. In addition to pollutions, there are also greenhouse gas emissions. Like the 80% of global emissions are related to the clothing and shoe industry. The environmental impact of the fashion in the industries, however, does not stop only at the production of clothing, but also continues in the homes of those who buy them. This is the damage of an increasingly linear society that is victim of disposable fashion. A simple click is enough to buy new trendy clothes that we stop wearing in even less time. So the planet not only suffers the choice of producers who do not pay attention to the environmental issues, but also suffer from unaware purchases of consumers. In fact, according to some studies, young people consider old clothes after wearing them twice or at least three. Today, the 85% of the clothes produced end up in a landfill, while only 1% of these are recycled. Who suffers the most is the planet, which finds itself using precious resources for clothing that lasts less and less in people's clothes. The pollution produced by the textile industry has a huge impact on the planet, and the reasons are quite simple to understand. Garments are probably the most common goods that the people buy in the world, and the average number of items an individual buys each year has grown dramatically. So the main problem caused by the textile industry include water pollution, air pollution, and the pollution from solid waste production. Let's see these three main problems. So talking about water pollution, we should say that the textile industry uses millions of gallons of water every day. This is explained by the fact that to produce 1 kilogram of fabric, on average 200 liters of water are consumed during phases such as washing the fabric, bleaching it, dyeing it, or washing the finished products. The problem, however, is not the high use of water, but the fact that the wastewater is often not properly treated to remove pollutants before being released into the environment. Substances such as chlorine, formaldehyde, and heavy metals are absorbed by watercourses and therefore consumed by people in normal daily activities. Then, regarding to the air pollution, we have to say that according to some studies, the clothing industry accounts for 10% of the world's CO2 emissions and is the second most polluting industry in the world. Specifically, the air pollution produced by the textile industry includes substances deriving from the phases of energy production, coating, drying, dyeing, wastewater treatment and storage, and in the phases of dyeing and bleaching the products. Lastly, we have the pollution from solid waste production. The textile industry also produces a high amount of solid waste. Globally, about the 90 million of clothes end up in landfill every year. In addition, waste ends up in water causing environmental problems. So we have to say that these different types of pollution releases into the environment by the textile industry are becoming very dangerous, both for the planet and for the people. So a new approach to the production, consumption, and disposal of clothing products has become absolutely necessary. So what if we could reuse used garments without polluting them? Let's think about a sort of machine that could be capable of separating polyester and cotton from the mixed fabric composed of these two materials. That would be a brilliant idea that could be able to solve partially, if not completely, one of the main problems of pollution related to textile companies. Using only, for example, heat, water, pressure, and a sort of chemical agent, maybe biodegradable, and thanks to this machinery, we can maybe obtain a long and good quality of fibers that can be reused to produce other clothes. Then we have to think that this machinery does not generate secondary waste by being able to reuse the water, the heat, and the chemical to repeat all the processes. In this way, multiple problems will be solved. Also, the problem related to pollution will be solved not only due to not only to the garment itself, but also to that generated by the plants that produces clothes, so by the textile industries. But instead, can we as company help to reduce pollution? So how could we help people to not to throw away their clothes, but to recycle them? What if from a dress worn only one time once other clothes could be obtained? How can we do this? So simply by not throwing them away, but recycling them. If a company institutes rewards, for example, for anyone who brought back clothes they no longer need or that they don't like anymore, it could help the company to collect as many fabrics as possible to create new clothing lines. This could be helpful not only for people who could easily get rid of their clothes in this way, but also for companies and especially the environment. So it could be like a 3-in-1. It could be perfect. So you have to think twice before throwing your clothes in garbage bins. You have to recycle. It's good for your health and that of those around you. Thank you for your attention.